3. We'd all heard about it on the radio, of course. The radio, a Philco with a cracked case, which had also been scavenged from the dump, played all the time. We kept it tuned to WLAM in Lewiston, which churned out the super hits and the boss oldies. What in the World's Come Over You by Jack Scott, and This Time by Troy Shondell, and King Creole by Elvis, and Only the Lonely by Roy Orbison. When the news came on, we usually switched some mental dial over to mute. The news was a lot of happy horseshit about Kennedy and Nixon and Quee Moy and Matsu and the missile gap and what a shit that Castro was turning out to be after all. But we had all listened to the Ray Brower story a little more closely because he was a kid our age. He was from Chamberlain, a town 40 miles or so east of Castle Rock. 3 days before Vern came busting into the clubhouse after a 2-mile run up Grand Street, Ray Brower had gone out with one of his mother's pots to pick blueberries. When dark came and he still wasn't back, the Browers called the county sheriff and a search started. First just around the kid's house and then spreading to the surrounding towns of Motton and Durham and Pownall. Everybody got into the act. Cops, deputies, game wardens, volunteers. But 3 days later the kid was still missing. You could tell, hearing about it on the radio, that they were never going to find that poor sucker alive. Eventually the search would just peter away into nothing. He might have gotten smothered in a gravel pit slide or drowned in a brook, and 10 years from now some hunter would find his bones. They were already dragging the ponds in Chamberlain and the Motton Reservoir. Nothing like that could happen in southwestern Maine today. Most of the area has become suburbanized, and the bedroom communities surrounding Portland and Lewiston have spread out like the tentacles of a giant squid. The woods are still there, and they get heavier as you work your way west toward the White Mountains. But these days, if you can keep your head long enough to walk 5 miles in one consistent direction, you're certain to cross 2-lane blacktop. But in 1960, the whole area between Chamberlain and Castle Rock was undeveloped, and there were places that hadn't even been logged since before World War II. In those days, it was still possible to walk into the woods and lose your direction there and die there.